Hello everyone. Today we'd like to introduce Mr. Mohammed Al Asfoor, founder of Designer Shaik.
Start with my name, Mohammed Al Asfoor, Bahraini, who walked into a venture which actually probably I'll shed the light on with you today. Nearly 25 years ago, I walked into took a land into the land from Lawqaf in a village called Al-Hajar, which is behind Country Mall, and I start developing my concepts, and which I'll share with you for those who probably you don't know much about the brand, what we did. I hope it's a success which we could sustain and develop. The brand called Designer Shaik. The Shaik is this prince, which is mystical prince from the desert, which a lot of the stories in my early days, whenever I travel in Europe, people ask me, we always, especially girls in Europe, they always say, I always dream about the prince who come and pull me up to his white horse and these kind of stuff. This is the kind of image that the Arabian people mind in the West, which it happened in so many times. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit with my look those days. But always they had that kind of things in their back of their head about this mystery in Arabia. So I developed this theme over the year, and this what front of you is up to date of things of the brand. Of course, the theme is start with the name Designer Shaik. You could see the logo on both of those pictures. We actually go through the colors and romantic side of Arabia. We're trying to implement it in our brand, and we're trying to implement it in our product, where we love to see people who pick those products and become a symbol for their emotion to each other and stuff like that. So this is the basic task for us as a brand. So I mean, I've gone through a lot of early days basic stuff to develop the brand, the images of things we used to see in movies. This process, a painting like this is a bit of everything I used to see around me. And I'm blessed, actually. I used to paint a lot. I used to sketch people's faces, and I could actually take a lot of ideas and mix them together and, fusing them to make something very, to express the ideas we are in. Of course, this is our offices here in the Al-Hajar. We call it Media Village, by the way, to clarify the entry, because it's a piece of land. With time, we developed the concept between housing and offices and things like that. So we ready now to call it the Creative Village, and this is our next move to the which could be visited and all that. This is some of the pictures of the offices, just to show some images of what goes on a daily basis in our company. In our offices, we design everything. We design everything to suit our kind of work, and so even the furniture and all that is all done part of the theme. This is the kind of team we have. We have an ordinary team like everybody else, and we try actually to energize those teams to achieve what we want. Some of the images, of course, it's again to create a backup for the Shaik and his kingdom. We really need to create some kind of props and stuff like this so we could live in our offices the theme itself while we're producing the image. This is sampled of the product we do and how we present it. The perfume is what we been known about, and people know us for, but we are actually in the background working with a lot of product line, and we trying to improve also the perfume itself. We try to create masterpieces for people to keep and look after and be proud of, not just a perfume or a product they use. We really like to develop product that people pass through generation, and meaning that because we always extensive on making use and recycle all the element when we give it to people, that we give them something, we create a service to refill, we create service to service, so the product actually could live long process. So just these images just to show the kind of quality and the stuff we work very hard to develop within Designer Shaik concept. This is the watch which actually is going to be launched by beginning of April. This is a 9-year work for us. We developed we brought up all the high technical machines and stuff into the center. It took us a while to learn how to make it run. It took us a while how to run the programs of design programs. It took us a while how to link them together, because a lot of those things is not straightforward in the market. You had to buy element and make them work together. And we really did a lot of work, but now we're ready. And hopefully this year we're going to come up with a 3 model of watches. And hopefully we just show a very different kind of product for the world, from Bahrain and from Arabia in general, that we could all be proud of. This is, again, is a picture of the images and stuff like that. That shows the process of designing and the element which we develop internally, trying to develop those products and make them look great and give us a good control over the quality and the things to drive it through the market. Of course, some of the facilities not all here. I mean, I'm showing you a bottle there in an oven, but these kind of stuff also we go out of the border in Bahrain to cooperate with people who actually get those industry and get what we can best out of them to really help the brand grow. This is just giving an idea also of the retail environment we are in. And this is scope of prizes which we win. I mean, we did win prizes in Cannes, internationally. I mean, wherever we gone, actually we created bit of interest, and we managed to win prizes in. Some of this also, of course, in Bahrain here. And going through this glossary live is just, I want to take you back to the beginning. I mean, this is all the glossary and the nice things we did achieve over the year. But to me, this is a journey of 40 years now, or 35 years in the market. But it started just to take everybody to the environment we used to live. I mean, this is for me in the class 4 in the school, and I'm in the middle here, there. It just shows the type of classes we used to have, where we sit 4 or 5 of us on a table, and we had to really walk long distance to get into the class. We had to probably, there is a lot of tools in those days which we take for granted now, like writing and stuff, is the top things when you write or read or something. It used to be fantastic. These days the challenge is much more, but they are the bases. And I'm just trying to take you through the concept of these life. I mean, it's really just shows that, just to bring your attention to the youth today, that they are blessed with a lot of facility, a lot of knowledge, a lot of things crossed, it's been laid in front of you, which I really hope that you take advantage of. I mean, just to get into beginning, I mean, I had to really bring partners for 500 dinar and give them 50% of the business in the beginning. And luckily they didn't stay long, because I was running, trying to ask for more and more money. They didn't want to give me more money, so they got out from me, and they put me in really in trouble, because I have to really get somewhere and trying to get more money to really keep the business going. Today you get organizations like Tamkeen and classes. The environment like we are in here is fantastic. Classes is very well, and I really hope youth of today really take advantage of that and appreciate that. But there is no hide of really building the right skills on you, and this is what we're going to really spend the rest of the talks about. This is the kind of job I did in the beginning, between school time and stuff. I mean, I used to really go on and pick on buying, basket of dates or books of mango or something like that, and trying to go place and trying to sell it. And I'm just trying to go back to this period, because a lot of the early techniques on business I learned from those days. Today I'm using the same techniques in a much more glorified way. But the techniques of selling and buying and being a business and being responsible is the same. And when you look at the, a person who's sitting beside the street selling something, he have to do all the right calculation and right techniques to be successful. Because even though in the morning he had to go to an auction, buy a product, make sure he's buying something he could sell it for a profit. buy the right things which people would probably have to buy. So you have to really pick the right product, because in those days when I go to fruit market, there is so many fruit. You really have to pick up the right fruit to go to the market to sell it for the day. Plus, when you go out in the street with the fruit, you really have to pick the right place, because when you go into the right place, you know, in the wrong place, you might end up with the same books in the end of the day, and the things with the fruit, they go off. So you have to calculate when the fruit will go off. You have to sell it before the fruit goes off. Otherwise, you have a stomach ache by eating the half a fruit, because that's the only thing you could do to cut your losses. Just get your stomach filled up with the fruit. So the early techniques of selling something on the side of the street is really a good lesson to look at, and just make sure that there is a lot of all the right criteria being set so to become really a successful. So even how you make yourself attractive, what you say, all that stuff is really all had to go through your mind. Sometime, even when you bring the right fruit, sit the right place, you really have to, you know, appear to be the most attractive between the next salesperson with his box that you could sell the stuff. So the basic stuff is very important, and I really urge everyone to really go through whatever business plans you need to do. You have to learn how to calculate. You need to learn how to buy and sell, you know, to create the right processes to give you the right calculations, so you could build your next step in your business accordingly. And you have to really identify locations you need to sell in. I'm just talking about, again, the same things we end up the conversation with, that you have to really make a good study on the areas where it's busy, people busy and stuff. In those days when I was selling fruit, I always trying to look which one is the most important. Is next to the fish market, what time, maybe the meat market, what time. Those are the basic information which actually drive this planning today, where when we plan a brand like Designer Shaik, we really go to the very important location in the world where we have to put ourselves so we become more popular internationally, so people could call us and accept us to be in their shop. Because these days, even with the business and internationally, it's all globally, we are there, but it took us a really long time to be in those shops, because every shop have the choices. Every day there is hundreds and hundreds of brands coming into the market, and these brands all drive for space. And the shop have only limited space. Whatever the size of the shop, it have only limited space. So they need to see those kind of devoted people who knock the door, keep knocking the door, and bring in more interesting things to, you know, to allow these buyers from this shop who relax with big brand, big name, already made it, do not give the chance to someone who's just coming in new. And he will not give that unless if he is more confident about the quality and the things he see from this newcomer. So all what I'm saying here just is good really to not take for granted the really early symptom of actually make you a businessman or make you an entrepreneur. You really have to look at every aspect of business, and you really have to go through the pain of learning things you don't like accountings, basic accountings, like the currencies, multi-currencies, learning about places, basic things about places where you could actually start your product and people will give you the attention. How you look in these places where you have to hold the sketch and paper and know how to sketch. A basic sketch is to really plan a location and plan something could attract your customer to you. Also, in the same time, when you build the product, you really need to learn a lot of stuff about how the factories and how the manufacture, you know, any product you do, you really have to go the process and learn how these things manufactured and how you could push the envelope in every aspect of those product you are trying to go to the market with. There is nothing, up to these days, I really bite my nail every night sometime because I look like I'm an exam again, because I have another challenge this week or next week or a month time from now, which I need to prepare for. And what I look at what I do today and look at how, you know, what's bad in it and not what's great in it. There was great in it which could build on, and then how I could refine it to go forward. And a lot of it hard work. You really had to go through reading a lot. You had to go and visit places a lot. And you really have to persevere and focus, because a lot of people have great ideas, but they keep jumping from one idea to another every day. There is no ideas will be easy. Even the basic one I just brought you, a salesman in the South Street, is not an easy. If you don't get the right things, you will find a lot of bankrupt people on this, doing basic business like this, as much as you could see a lot of bankrupt people who's doing business and compete with us. The only things I could see a lot of time, people who do not focus as well, because they jump from one idea to another. Every idea requires the same knowledge in every aspect of it to make you successful. So that's some probably lesson for some of you to think about. I hope I covered most of how I'm doing with the time. Finished. Okay. So I just close this talk with all these things. I hope that all of you to remember the easy bit and the nice things and the wonderful things all had to come up with in a matchboos. It doesn't come alone. You can't actually pick what you like, unfortunately. To be successful, you really have to do a lot of these things together, and you really had to spend time and things to look at the detail and build all those great knowledge in each area to really be successful. I mean, I actually love the German system where they say you had to really spend 8 years to develop a new product. And 8 years doesn't mean you should start with the beginning of the 8 year knowing what your product is. And I think I really don't go through process of all these things shown in the box in my life. And maybe they need it for something like maybe somebody who does with consumer stuff. For me, I work very hard to imagine I'm working for the Shaikh. He's a prince. What his style of life he is. Does it suit his lifestyle? What I bring in out? If I succeed to bring something fit with his lifestyle, I'm okay in the market because people will love to subscribe to the detail. I build things sometime, the watch is being built now 9 years. Actually, if you come in and see the models I actually did a lot of stuff. And these stuff, it took me so long. Every time I thought I'm going to bring these products in 6 months time. In 6 months time, I go and compare it with the image of the brand. Does it suit the person I'm going, does it suit the prince to wear? Let's just put it that way. And from that, I really assess my product. The cover cost, actually, when things happen, when the product come out, I do cover the cost because then it's a successful product. But then before that, I really use other things which I was successful on to really develop those venture when they were fresh. I didn't need to go in my side. I didn't have the luxury to go into Tamkin. I used to go to banks actually. They didn't give me face. Nobody just they think I'm crazy. So I didn't get any money on that side. The biggest loan I could get, even after I started the business in the contracting, I got 5,000 dinar. That's the maximum money I could get. So I had to develop business which make the money to develop the other venture I'm working on. So while I'm working there in daytime, I come at evenings and stuff. I use it as a hobby, and I really developed that idea. I mean, I tell you, things will happen. Even like you mentioned, Paris Gallery. I mean, I was following them for 2-3 years, and they refused my product. And they say, who you think you are? You're selling something more expensive than Chanel? I said, it's special, and I keep talking about the story of the Shaikh, and we spend a lot of time, which is true. I really love to, I said, if something worth something, have to have a value. And if the value, I build a value, and I build a product to fill that value. I don't do the other way around. I don't go out with cheap product trying to I'm not in the cheap market. If I sell that, I'll kill the name from first day one. So I really develop product which worth the stuff. So generally, you had to really work. And in the end, when he allowed me to get into his shop, he was trying to pressure me even to be only exclusive for him and stuff like that. I refused to do that. Even the day where my display going back to all his shops in Dubai. And he called me, he said, if you don't give me exclusivity, take it back. And I thought that's blackmailing. I said to him, sorry. And he wanted, because there was somebody give me a space before, which is Rodeo Drive in Dubai. He giving me the space. He said to me, I had to take your product out of his head. I said, this guy giving me the first chance, and I will respect him as long as I live. You, the big retailer, I don't care if you don't take my product. And he liked that. My display was going to his shop, and he called, he said, take them back. I said, fine, I'll take them back. And I got a call after 1 hour. He said, you really good person. I'm going to take your product in. And I got more respect for what I did.